If this cake looks familiar to you, it's because I did showcase this in a video that I made about 3 months ago. If you want to watch that video, you can go back and see the one titled How I Party Plan, Shopping Decorations and Balloon Arches for My VIP Movie Themed Party. But I did make this for my friend's 50th birthday. I figured that I would create another video to break down in detail just how I made this cake. Since it is one of my favorite cakes ever that I've made so far, and since Halloween is coming up, I thought I could offer up this idea for anyone that is throwing a classic horror flick party. One thing that stands me out from most bakers is that I love to create my own handmade edible images. For one, it's just a lot cheaper, and for two, I just really like to use my own creativity, and also because you can't really find images like this readily available online. So if this sounds fun to you, let's start decorating. Back in March, I created a birthday cake for my husband's birthday, and I did a fault line cake, and I kind of want to recreate something like that. And if you are familiar with my channel, I've already done this twice. I used this. It has a little light on it. I used that to trace and outline images, but I did recreate this logo onto a sugar sheet. Now what I want to work on is this part of it. This is going to be in the This is going to be in the fault line part of the cake. It's only going to be in the front. I'm not going to be able to wrap this around the entire cake, but I'll get to that when I get there. I'll figure something out to fill in the gaps. Not sure if it's really even necessary. I'll figure it out soon, but I am so excited to retry this technique because it is going to be so fun. Originally, I just created this part of the video to be a short, and I did post the first part of it because it was so long I needed it to do it in 2 parts, and I told the people that if I got 100 likes that I would post part 2. Well, I didn't get 100 likes. I got about 21 and I got 5 dislikes. Not sure why people don't like this kind of stuff. Maybe because they don't like horror films. I don't know. But these are classics, so I was like, what is not to like about it? I think that this is so cool, and I think that I'm the only baker out there that does stuff like this, at least from what I have seen. So this is generally my own idea, and being that I've been creating videos for 3.5 years now and I'm not even getting paid to do this, I'm giving out all of my free ideas here, you guys. So I kind of feel like my work is underappreciated, but I still want to put this video out there because I know there are some cool people out there that would love stuff like this. So instead of doing a part 2, you get a whole video. You're welcome. Okay, so here's what we've got. I've got my 4-layer 8-inch round that has been in the refrigerator overnight, and I have my edible images here. I always keep them inside here so that they stay fresh, but I made 3 different types of edible images. This one is the knives with the characters' faces on them, and then this one is the actual characters. And then since her name is Christine and it's a horror movie, and it's actually one of my favorite horror movies, I made her the Christine logo. So I'm going to be cutting these to size, and they are gonna go around the middle part of the cake. I'm gonna apply them with water all the way around, and then we're gonna put buttercream on the bottom and the top. So the Christine is gonna go in the front actually, even though this one right here is my favorite image. I want her name to be in the front. So we're gonna pick a side that looks the best, like more straight and even on both sides, so it's not like leaning or anything like that. I wanna say right there looks pretty good. And we're gonna go down the center of the cake, like this. So there's going to be a space between the bottom and the top. I keep doing that, switching it, the top and the bottom. And I do need to have my images touching each other, so they are going to overlap, and there is going to be a gap in the back because there was no way I was going to be able to get all of these images to fit perfectly around the cake. But it shouldn't be too much of a gap. You could also apply this to fondant if you want to, if you feel like it would work out easier. But buttercream will be fine as long as you have a thick enough layer of buttercream to stick it on. If you do a light crumb coat on your cake, which is the mistake that I made when I made my husband's cake, it won't really have a good grip to it, and a lot of the pieces might start to fray. So also make sure to use enough water, but not too much water, otherwise your edible image will start to melt. So I want one side to have the characters and one side to have the knives. So I'm going to start here. Yeah, it's going to have a gap like that much in the back. Go get the board that it's going to sit on because I don't want to have to move this cake after I put the buttercream on. There's really not a whole lot that I can say to give you pointers on how to do this part. I'm sure there's other people who can explain it better than I can, but I do want to say, like, it doesn't have to be perfect. The only thing that you're really trying to achieve here is that you want to make sure that the seams of your edible images are covered so you can't see them. So the whole idea of a fault line cake is to make it look like the cake is separating and it's revealing the images underneath of it. So the fault line part of it is not going to be completely straight, and that's what makes it that cool structure. I mean, fault line cakes are definitely not a new thing anymore. I'm kind of late to the game, but that's just how I am. I'm a self-taught baker, so everything that I do, I watch videos and tutorials on, or I do it through trial and error. I also wanted to make sure that this cake had a little bit of shimmer to it and also a little bit more of a darker blue because that would be one of her favorite colors. So I used some Dodger Blue luster dust to dust the sides and the top of the cake to give it that shine. And then I'm just gonna finish up decorating this cake. I did keep it simple because at this time I was planning an entire party. I was making a ton of sweets to make an entire dessert table, a ton of decorating, and then also a few DIYs. And I didn't have a whole lot of time to work on it, so I just wanted to make sure that The handmade portion of it was these edible images, and everything else was like pics. Some of the stuff, it was provided to me, and I think that she either got her toppers from Amazon or Temu, but this was a VIP party, so we kind of made it like a movie themed cake. But definitely the main focus was the fault line part of the cake and then also the edible images. So I wasn't really too worried about using fake things to top this cake off with. However, I did make some homemade ganache. I just use red colored candy melts, and I mixed it with a little bit of heavy cream. I think you can also use half and half. And I melted it down in my candy melting pot that's back there, and I just mixed it together. I just made sure that it was runny enough to fall down the sides of the cake, and you could play around with this. You can do like half of the cake, you could just do a quarter of the cake, you can scatter it around however you want to do it, but I just wanted to make it look like it was kind of bloody. And what was kind of cool was that it dripped all the way down to the bottom of the cake, and some of it even got on the edible image itself, so it kind of made it look like the cake itself was bleeding, and some of the characters were bleeding too, especially on the knives. I thought that was pretty cool. This was literally my second time ever doing a fault line cake, and just on the second try alone, I think I did a much better job at it, and it came out so cool. I don't know. I'm so proud of myself, and it's rare that I ever say that. It's rare that I ever compliment myself, but this time I feel like I nailed it. I really hope that you enjoyed watching this video as much as I had fun at making this cake. Like I said, this one is top tier. It's one of my favorite cakes so far. And my favorite part of these edible images is just how vivid those colors are. You cannot find colors like that on an edible printer. You just can't. But I want to thank you guys so much if you guys stuck around till the end. You guys are amazing for supporting my channel. I appreciate you, every single one of you guys. But that is it for now. I love you all. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.